morning, good afternoon, Nagendra. How are you?
I'm good, Sarpil. Thank you very much. How are you doing?
I'm doing okay. Thank you so much. I'm really energized today because I am together with one of my best colleagues in the world, and that I get also influenced by you and to learn more from each other. I'm really so happy today that you are again joining our YouTube channel as one of the influencer to other students.
Thank you, Sarpil. I think the inspiration is from you always. So the energy and the way you are developing the awareness on the community, I think definitely this is something remarkable that it's very few of them have the passion of spreading the awareness and the energy that so you are showing towards this. So definitely it is remarkable, and absolutely my gratitude for you and my salute to you for that, for making this effort for all of us.
Thank you so much. I'm not alone in this project. It was a small project when it started, but later on, with the contribution of all of you in the world, with all of my colleagues, it really became a global project that all people, all directors, CEOs have joined on. And then it's really increasing a lot every day. And we have interviewed with you last year, but it's not enough, and it will not be enough, sure. And we will be interviewing a lot with you in the upcoming years. World is changing, and there are too many challenges in business life, in the world. And as long as some changes are happening in the world, we can't remain the same. We also need to develop ourselves as skills, as personal skills. Maybe you saw in Instagram or LinkedIn that I joined in a seminar in Uludağ University on Friday. It was just about effective communication, which is one of the functions that an executive assistant must have. For me, it was a challenge. It's because, we are always in communication with people, with our business colleagues, but only just communication as a heading to tell to students is a little bit difficult, because communication is full, Some people think that communication is just, how are you, how is going, but it's not like that. I want to also ask you, what is communication?
So I would tell that it's a medium of how do you communicate your thoughts, emotions, so for other person who can resonate the same, right? I mean, it might be a negotiation, it might be what do you want to communicate as an emotion, right? It might be pain, or might be a sorrow, happiness, and how do you communicate effectively, right? I mean, the thing is, other person need to resonate for what you are. Communication might be a spoken language or a written language, the understanding you have with other person, right? On bonding you have with other person, or the understanding you have with other person, right? I mean, the thing is, if I'm talking to you in terms of some subject, or so if I take executive assistant as itself as a subject, I'm talking to you, so you should be able to resonate, and you should be able to connect, to the topic. And my points, whatever I'm talking, should make you sense, right? I mean, you should be able to resonate, and you should be able to receive it well, and also respond to it.
Exactly.
So this is what I'll tell as an impactful communication. It should be listening, it should be writing, it should be talking. So a lot more things, combination of a lot more things.
The starting point should be listening, maybe, in order to
Exactly.
have effective communication. The starting point should be at first effective listening. If you don't listen well, carefully, you can't reflect what it's being wanted from you. This is what I am thinking.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, highest level of communicator or impactful communicator is becoming a negotiator and a storyteller, right? I mean, the thing is, the way you narrate story to the audience, so they should be able to capture you. So you should be able to capture your points, or whatever you want to communicate, and you should be able to hold attention of audience. So that's the that's the impactful communicator can do, right? And what story you are going to tell, so it should connect to the audience.
Yeah, exactly. I agree, Nagendra. So let's start with our questions. You know that I prepared a couple of questions to you. Of course, it's depending on you how you answer, and I'm really looking forward to learning more and more and more. Okay, what made you interested in becoming an executive assistant? What attracted you?
Yeah, so it was so as I told you, I came to this profession by accident. It was a fate decision to come to this profession, but retaining and sustaining in this position, it was my decision, right? I mean, it's a long journey that I have made, and I worked with several companies with various size, so in business, from a very government companies, like where the framework administration process is completely different than a global giant like Amazon or PayPal. So the thing is, their framework is different. Eventually, an administration role eventually become an executive assistant, partnership role, where the role from a reactive role to proactive role and partnering role. I think the journey was very tremendous. So in this journey, I have learned a lot of things with a lot of leaders, with business and other stakeholders that I was interacting with. I think this, especially this learning, I think in other roles you'll not get it, especially when you are at executive assistant level. The information, the database that you will get about the business, about your leader, the thought process, so a lot more things, right? I mean, it is not difficult. It is very difficult for other roles to get this information,
Exactly.
and that in the way you are developing yourself, right? I mean, you're going to different domains of industries, and you are developing eventually on like how to look into your role. So what is developing, what is connecting you to the business, what is connecting you to the leader, and you are working with different set of personalities, like you. So on the technical skills you should be 100%, on the personal skills you should be 100%, like so when you are interacting, as you told, like so you should be effective communicate, right? I mean, there are a lot of I think it's a combination of a lot of varieties of skills, which makes executive assistants profile very beautiful.
Exactly. What I love, what attracts me in this profession is that you must communicate with everyone, because communication is the first function, skills we need to have, and also the management skills. You know, our profession is going on with management skills. You need to manage everything, office, people, and managing people means communication. So this is two of functions that I love in this profession.
Yeah, I think for a person who can communicate, from an housekeeping, from a driver to very senior stakeholders, in the business, I think the only profession can handle this is executive assistant. With same empathy you will talk with a housekeeping person or a driver, with the same empathy you're going to talk with a senior leader. I mean, the thing is, the respect won't change, and you will adjust your tune and tone according to the profiles that you communicate for, right? I mean, that's the beauty of how you'll get the things done, how you'll get the work done. It is not because of I mean, many people assume that it's power, because you are the senior leaders, so you are becoming senior leader assistant, so you have the power and you can get it done. That's not the way. I mean, the thing is, you are getting the things done because of your intellect, the way you are able to communicate and get the things done.
Mhm, mhm.
And this is what I think people will forget about that part.
Yeah, exactly, Nagendra. Perfect answer. Okay, the second question is, I know that you have changed your business in India. You are now an executive assistant in another company. So in this company, how you start setting up your day? what steps do you take to ensure that every detail is planned and executives are prepared for the meeting, for the travels, for anything?
Yeah. So whatever the domain that I'm going to change, whatever the company I'm going to change, I think role is bit similar. And as I get matured in the role, the way I look into the role is different, right? I mean, the thing is, if I tell, okay, I'm managing calendar, right? So now I'm not going to tell I'm managing calendar. So now I'm going to tell how many hours I saved for the, my manager, how many hours I made him productive. So which was the non-meeting, so non-productive hours that got added and I removed that from the calendar. I think these are the things that is we will miss out bringing in into our conversation, right? I mean, people will tell calendar management, send invite, receive invite, but the thing is, we are, so this is a general job, right? I mean, so
Exactly.
you should remove all those things and you should tell. So I mean, I didn't get any EA telling that, so I have saved these many hours and also for my manager in this year.
Mhm.
I
Okay,
think
perfect.
that is what is really reflection of our job. So we should really become data oriented and we should tell that, okay, this many hours I have saved for my manager this month.
Mhm, mhm. Exactly. Nagendra,
Oh, yeah,
saying
I think
no.
I have not. Sorry. I have not completed. So you asked to elaborated role. Yeah. So here my duties relatively little bit same, but the thing is, being in a tech industry, there are a lot of projects to handle, and so how do you add value to your manager because you're so here here stakeholders are sitting in US, so how you will be available for them and you will be available in time. See how you will solve the challenges of the time and make everyone part of the meeting. How do you not add burden to the people? I think a lot more things is more interesting in this role. I think yeah, this is some unique thing that I'm so learning now. Yeah.
Here is another question that is not in the list. What made you be selected for this profession? You got interview, and then what made the company? Oh, this is the executive assistant we were looking for. Do you
I
have an
presented
idea?
my role. Yeah, I presented my role very well. The thing is, so to be to tell about my interview process, I think 5 directors and 1 VP took my interview, and almost from different sets of the globe. But thing is, one thing common they find it was the thing is this executive assistant can add value, bring in the value to the system, right? From your experience and education or clarify. I mean, you have been constantly upgrading yourself like I told you, from a calendar management perspective, let me get into precise way of telling, narrating things, right? So this many hours I have saved for my manager, or this is this much non-productive meeting I identified, and so I cleared that from his thing and added a productive hours for him. Right, I think this is a specifically. I mean, I mentioned about one calendar management part, but I think there are a lot of other things in other sets of profile. Like so you have to manage a project. How do you keep your manager organized? How do you keep your manager? Inform, and how do you provide information that he's keeping updated about the business?
Exactly. On the other hand,
Because he will be
yeah, go on, please.
sorry, he will be busy. Yeah, he'll be busy throughout, right? And what and all you can take up for him, so that it will free up his bandwidth and eventually he'll get the information, he has the control. So that makes your position more reliable and untrust. Somewhere you can do that, and makes, like so you are indispensable for the organization, right? I mean, the value you are giving for the organization and the value you are giving for yourself. I think this is where the thin line is, that what is that you value addition you're giving to your manager, because they are your customers and key stakeholders, and what and all you can do for them to remove their burdens and so take up those administrative activities, so that can make really a so a good executive assistant or impactful executive assistant. I think those things so I could present very well to the stakeholders and I got selected. Yeah.
And nowadays in Turkey, I don't know how it's in other countries, but in Turkey, the companies are seeking for executive assistants who can take risk. I mean that who can advise to his or her managers. Some executive assistants are here, hesitate to ask something, get fear of the managers to involve their ideas or thoughts into the business. They always expect managers to be telling him or her what to do. But sometimes we must put our hands on the desk that this is my idea. If you follow up this way, it will be much more better for you. So sometimes we need to get risk as well.
Exactly. I mean, the thing is, as I told you, so it was once upon a time, it was an administrative role. Now it is a proactive role, right? I mean, the thing is, what is that you are going to give for the system and how much proactiveness you can show for the system, for your customers, for your business. So, and that's where you can add value, right? I mean, how much I can be proactive to make my manager organized
Exactly.
in every way, in whatever the possible ways, so identify those areas of pain, add your value to that, so that so that will create a delightful customer experience, and obviously you'll be a indispensable assistant for anyone.
Right. And Nagendra, here is another question. Saying no and saying yes. When executive assistants should be saying yes, when no. This is one of the skills that time to time I can't manage. I always say yes, yes. Sometimes I need to say no to maybe have some people have their own responsibilities and also to gain some more time for my work, let's say.
Yeah, so this is a very interesting question, and so telling no, we feel that so we feel guilty about telling no, and so in most of the executive assistant community, I think this is the myth that is like so it's been, I think, programmed in a way that you can't tell no, right? See, given the situation, resource, and the time, or a lot more factors, I think, so you should be able to justify what is yes and what is no, because that makes you a good communicator, to be very firm on what you are thinking on, and you have a thought process behind it. You are telling no for a genuine reason,
Mhm.
and so there is a system called service no, and so any call center or so any back office, if you call, so they would tell this that we can't do this for you, but this is an alternate, right? I mean, the thing is, you should be able to add value to it, right? I mean, so if you're telling no, so there is a logic reason behind it, right? I mean, if I tell, like, so there is two important meetings, and so one is already fixed and another invite is coming. If I feel guilty of telling no because both are from very senior managers, or so might be one is your immediate your manager's immediate level manager, and another person is like your skip level, your manager's skip level manager. I mean, there's a conflict on that.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
when you
yeah.
are not telling no, and if you feel guilty of telling no in that way, so your manager will get stuck,
Yeah, exactly.
right?
Sometimes this is me. I feel guilty. I
So you
get
should
so
not feel
sad.
guilty about, and you should be very firm. And there is a logic behind telling no, because sometimes we do that. We'll stretch ourselves into too much thing. I think so. You should be a good player, but also the thing is, you should develop to for being champions, right? I mean, so telling no for certain things in certain situations, I think it makes things clearer, and so it relieves us from the stress. I mean, you should be very vocal about your communication. One of the important point being a good communicator is you should be very vocal,
Yeah.
right?
Maybe
So
at the back.
that
Sorry, Nagendra.
sorry, go ahead, go ahead, go ahead.
No, I was thinking that maybe at the back, psychologically, we think that we will not be appreciated, we will not be loud, we will not be supported in the business if we say no.
No, that is the myth, right? I mean, so when you are telling no, it means that so you can't do it. You can, or like so this job is not related to you, or this situation is not right to do that activity, right? I mean, the thing is, if you are managing two managers and two managers priority get together, like, okay, let me give you an example. Two manager will ask you to make a call at the same time. You can't do a con call to both of them, right? So obviously you have to tell no for the other person and tell that I need some time to work. And everything has a timelines, right? What is immediate, what is short term, what is long term, and what is, so eventually you want to achieve your goal. If you make it that clear, so you will get extra time to work on the long term project or a mid-term project or a short term project. So there is a priority wise you have to define yourself, right? And what I have to do immediately is something different from what I have to do in a short term. So today and now and in a month, there is a lot of variation. If your manager tells that no, so this is required immediately, and that is not possible, right? I mean, sometimes they will not tell the timelines, right? I mean, when do you need it? So in that way, you can ask the questions to clarify your doubts, like when do you need it, what is the ETA, and what is the dependability that you have to go through to clear that activity and get the result out of it. I think that is where you have to make some calculations, right? So if some report is getting only generated in the system after fifth, if he will tell that no, I want report on second, then it is not possible,
Mhm, mhm.
right? I mean,
Got it.
there is a timelines defined for this, so then you have to tell no.
Got it, Nagendra. Right. There are
So, I
lots
mean,
of
there are
things we
situation
need
I
to
can give
learn.
you various situation, but the thing is, so telling no should not be a guilty thing, and you should be able to be vocal. And if you can't do any task, you should just tell no because and give a reason to it, give your logic to it, and then you can tell. So what I can do. So if I can't provide on second, I can provide it to you on fifth,
Yeah, right.
and that is where you will communicate to him so that he's clear on that part.
Exactly. Okay, got
When
it.
you will not communicate no, so it will get into a mess, right? I mean, so he thinks that you are free, so you can be given more work, and you are taking more work, and you can't communicate that to him, and you are not telling no, and you are just assuming or like consuming all the work coming to you, and you'll not be able to deliver it on time, or you'll suffer on the delivery. Then everything will get into mess.
Yeah, right, Nagendra. Very useful information for the ones who can't say no. Because recently in business, some people are also suffering from this issue. And many people also sometimes complain, oh, I can't make time for myself, for my manager, because all people are asking for appointment and I can't say no. Otherwise, I feel not appreciated, not supported, and you become the worst person in the business because you say no. Always you say yes, and only one time you say no, and then you become the worst EA in the business.
I don't agree with that. I think people we are very reluctant to tell no. I think we as an EA community should. I think there are a lot of good EAs who tell no, and so who are assisting very senior profile. I think we should be able to tell no when we can't do it, and that's a very vocal way of representing things. Because if not, you will get into a mess.
Yeah,
That
yeah,
is for sure.
as you said, by saying no, everything is getting much more clear from both sides.
Exactly. I mean, the thing is, I mean, see, it should be a transparent communication, right? I mean, it requires tomorrow you will tell yes and you can't deliver it, then obviously you'll not be a good assistant.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And it's also, let's say, ruining the confidence in business life.
Exactly. One is confidence, and you will also, suffer with the stress, right? You will take too much of on your plate, and you'll not be able to deliver on time, and you'll obviously suffer. And this is very difficultly. I got, so to tell no. Initially in my career also, I had this belief telling that no, I can't tell no. But the thing is, I think slowly that's what you learn in your journey, right? I mean, how do you tell no?
Yes, exactly.
And that's important. And there are a lot of books written on so telling no and all, but it's very easy psychologically. You should be prepared to tell no, and you have your reasoning for that.
Yes. My daughter is very good at saying no, And I'm telling her that you are on the right way, my dear. You know, you can keep going. Otherwise, you know, by saying yes all the time, and the people then think that you are an easy one to catch up. You know, so sometimes in even our personal life, it's very important to say even no. Yeah,
Yes, so
perfect.
that is very important, and I think I would definitely urge and suggest a community to start practicing to tell no at the right situation and the right moment for the right activities. So it is like so to make a discretionary call. If you can't do it, please tell no with certain so whatever the logic you have thought about it. So you will get an alternate, or you will get that activity might be moved from your plate.
Yeah, perfect. And another question, what should be an executive assistant's goal, achievement in this life?
So this is I mean, I was telling someone yesterday, one of my friend, like executive assistant as an activity, there is no boundaries. But thing is, I would like to tell that whatever activities that you should do should add value to your stakeholders, to your business, and to your manager, because they are your important customers, right? And you should take those activities which can impact yourself. You can learn, you can get matured in the life or in the role, and eventually you'll be able to do great, right? I mean, if I take like so if there is some automation programs going on, I think you should be part of it, that so you know how the automation things going will go, and why automations are important, because nowadays automations are the key for any organization. And when you get a chance in future, so you should be able to give your ideas and thoughts about it, and that's what experience will teach you. I think I will tell that so don't bracket yourself under administration role, like calendar management or like expense. So don't only think about that. Think beyond that and extend your role, so in whatever you can, right? And see pain areas where your customers are suffering, where they need support, and so where you can impact their life, customer in the sense like your managers, your stakeholders, and see what is the value addition that you can bring into their life. I think that is what your goal should be. Yeah.
Perfect answer, Nagendra. Thank you so much. And another question is coming, and this is what I am also wondering. Is there any moment, or was there any moment in your life that you really pissed off being an executive assistant? You want to shut the door and leave the office? It happened to me years ago. I really pissed off everything. Oh my God, I can't manage conflict management, nothing. And then I want to go leave the office.
Yeah, so there are the moments when it comes that your work life is your life, right? I mean, it is taking you're getting your work life is getting obsessed over your entire life, and so you don't have your personal time. You'll get unnecessary calls at so from different time, or like so at your private time, when you don't want to get disturbed, you don't have peace of mind. You have taken a lot of I think this is what I told you, like exactly for the no situation. So in the initial stage of my career, I used to take everything, and you don't have time. You have to deliver to all the activities that you do, and that to 100%. If and you can't compromise on the quality, I think you'll obviously the stress will get created, right? I mean, many times it has thought so it will come to your mind that you should just more out of this role. I mean, especially there are certain reasons I have seen, I heard from a lot of PS. One is respect, and second one they'll tell no to. So I'll get calls in odd hours, request in odd hours. So a lot more things like that,
Yeah, good.
right? I mean, obviously you will get pissed off, and so you will tend to leave, and especially when it comes to career path, VA doesn't have a long career path and a lot more things. So obviously you will get and another thing is like the when you change a job, and especially it happens I mean too frequently for who is changing the job, right? I mean, so you are already adjusted to one environment, and you are going to another environment, and you have to make a so you have to make connect with new stakeholders. You have to build a relationship with them, and lot more things are not working out, people are not understanding. It's like, so they'll think that no, and so you have assumed role something, and actually you're doing something else. So I think that time what is going to happen is you'll find that so am I landed in a wrong place in a wrong job.
Yes.
So I
And
think this requires one is a patience-full and a calmful mind thought process, that so what it is, what is the situation is, right? I mean, if I want to tell no, because it is creating stress on my job, I think then I think you should be openly telling that no, I can't do this because it is 200% of what I'm already delivering it. So I need a helping hand.
mhm, mhm.
And that's where so you should be vocally very strong about that part, because I'm doing too many activities and you're getting to too many managers and you can't 100% so impactfully deliver,
Mhm.
right? So there are a lot of situations like then so I listen like many times, respect is one of the main
Very
traits, I mean,
important.
especially for executive assistant. And I feel so after my many years of observation, that respect is so not only this executive assistant role, I think there are other roles which is already so they have this because I have seen in LinkedIn, many of them are posting about the respect. So it's not only our role which is suffering, like I mean, executive assistant, there are other roles which are suffering. The only I should make a point here is like giving respect and taking respect is a basic human nature, right? I mean, being a human, we should respect each other, and irrespective of anyone it is. So somebody is not respecting you is, it means that there is no deficiency in you, there is a deficiency in them. And I feel that so whatever so how much ever they would have studied, or whatever the literate capability they have, or whatever the position they are. So if you are not a human being, I mean, you are basically not respecting being a human being, I think there's a big deficiency, there's a big mental problem.
Mhm, mhm. Got it, Nagendra.
So and eventually they will end up getting into a problem rather than solving the problem and adding value for themselves and the organization, I think, for whichever the position it might. Respect is a basic human trait, and don't so feel yourself. I feel pity for other person because he doesn't know what is respect means, a definition of respect. It is nothing wrong in you or in the profession you are doing it. It is wrong in the other person, and other person has to understand, whichever the position it might be. Like, so let me give an example, right? I mean, so many of the people who won't have seen, so they won't give much weightage to housekeeping people. But the thing is, without housekeeping people, they can't even run the office for 2 days.
Yes,
If your dustbin is not clear, so no one can sit in the office,
exactly,
right?
Nagendra.
I mean, that
Very
is
good.
that is exactly how to understand. Role is different, respect is different, so there is so your communication is different, I think. Everything, so people will mix it up and they will be in their own world. I think that people we can't help. I think they need a therapy, but I think you should not feel guilty about somebody is not respecting you, because so you can't see what is, you can do what is controllable in your hand. You can't ask other person, so you can only give respect, right? I mean, the principle is give respect and take respect. I think that's, you have to adapt it, and it shows your behavior on what you are as a person is, and not the other person's behavior, right? And that is what you have to follow.
Right, right. A very good example, Nagendra. Thank you so much. And another good question, which I believe, convincement or communication or both, which one is taking the first step for you? For me, two are linked to each other. Two, both are very important.
See, I mean, it is like depending on the situation and what are your priorities, right? I mean, when do you want to communicate? I think communication holds a stronger, because the thing is, communication itself is your key of your role, right? I mean, how do you communicate? So convincement is a result of what communication is, especially, right? I mean, when I'm communicating to you some points, so you should be able to get convinced, right? I mean, I should be able to deliver in a way that you should be able to get convinced. So result of communication is convincement. So that is what I can tell. So when so when your manager tells something, you'll get convinced. I think so. Before that, you should have your own formula or your own thought process. You'll get your points and with your experience, and I think that's what experience will you know tell us that so what is happening is right, wrong. So is it something better that we can do? I think that is what you need to think on. And if you think on all those lines and then put across your thought process, that is communication. Then so convincing is it's a result that the way communication happens. Right? You might get convinced or not convinced. It's a secondary part. So if I want to take like so in your promotion or appraisal cycle, so you have to communicate first whatever you have done. So you will portray yourself like so you're the best employee and you did this things and you couldn't do this things. So based on that, your convincement on your for your manager whether you're so certain percentage of hike can be given, so you're awarded as a best employee. I think that is the best example I can give.
Yeah, perfect. And last question is, what is your process in this profession? But I wish to change it a little bit, and I would like to ask you if you have a magic stick, what you will be changing for this profession for the upcoming 20 or 30 years?
Nice question. Yeah. So I would change that we should not become submissive.
Exactly.
You should be able to contribute. You should be able to value yourself, your profession, and bring add value to your customers. And because you are also part of so serving a customer, right? I mean, so you should not feel yourself as a role. You don't become submissive for the situations. To start getting into making your hand dirty, start adding values about the things, because eventually what is going to happen is as the dynamic of your industries are changing, there are a lot of automations, machine learnings, so a lot more coming in the process. I think every role's definition is going to change, right? I mean, if we are not going to being a EA community, if we are not going to change at some point of the time, I think it will bring redundancy of role. I mean, we are not adding any value to the organization, and eventually the situation, our executive assistant will get extinct, right? I mean, now it is a time to think what we can do for the organization, what we can do for the customers, place customers in center and start delivering. Don't so I would tell that don't copy and paste your goals, but the thing is each manager, each personalities that you are working is different. So design goals according to your customer, according to your manager. You see what is that his painful areas is or her painful areas is, then bring in the value into that. And automatically so eventually you will be getting a lot of opportunity to solve the problem. Add thoughts to it, start advising, start suggesting, start knowing about the business, or what is business environment is changing, how the business environment is changing, what influences our role, what influences my manager's role, how this is connected to the larger pie or larger market. I think a lot more things. There is a lot of detailed investigation and detailed reporting that has to happen, and then you deliver what is needed for the position or the customers. I think then eventually everything will change. So you should become data oriented, like I told, as a calendar management. So don't tell as a calendar management. So when you're going for an interview, you tell them that no, I have saved this many hours for the my manager, so I made this many meeting productive. I think that will add value. So be more precise in what you're doing, and that will give. So you should have an insight, like how many hours you have saved in the sense. Then you'll be data oriented. In a day, I'm saving 2 hours for my manager, and so you're saving 40 hours for his personal work, or his thought process, or for him to think what to do. I think that is a big contribution that you are giving. 40 hours is not a joke, right? Or even I'll tell, even 20 hours is not a joke. It requires certain amount of calculation, so a lot more things, thought process. That is, I think that is where you'll bring your efficiency. That is where you'll be able to showcase and present yourself a role well, right? I mean, it requires marketing as well. a data oriented approach. So building your personality and lot more things.
Yes, right.
Right. I mean, so don't become submissive for what so don't become a reactive role. Start becoming proactive for your organization. Start becoming proactive for what is needed for the role, and so eventually how you are adding value to the role, and start so benchmarking yourself where you stand,
Yes.
right? So that will, I think, that is one thing I would definitely want a community to change.
Perfect answer. And just coming to my mind, I really wish to learn. When we first started our business life as EA, we had seen many challenges, and time to time we failed, time to time we succeeded in, and we got our lessons. If 10 years before Nagendra was having today's mindset, what what did you want to change?
I think so one thing. So I mean, we lately realized that so now we are. I think networking is more in our EA community. This should have happened before 10 years back. I think we could have definitely changed the world and the way people will see our role. I think
Yes.
so. I mean, today is the networking for an EAs. I think it's become more easier, and we are connecting together as a one community, whole globe. I think something we should definitely invest on and become one community, and so bring in a lot of learning and start sharing experiences. So as a community, the bonding should be very strong. So bring a lot of experiences because everyone are unique and everyone has their own way of seeing the world. So if we really bring in all those thoughts, or all those whatever the framework or all those experience, so that that we have together, I think you'll be able to change tremendously on the road,
Mhm, mhm.
right? I mean, you'll do a lot of research and what is right, what is wrong. That experience sharing, I think that had to happen.
Right.
And awareness, so that automatically would have created the awareness of our position. We could have added more value addition for the organization. Potentially we could have developed ourselves into a different contributor role. I think still the time is not gone. I think we still have that chance to do it, and we can definitely influence organization sorry organization and customers that we interact day-to-day basis, stakeholders, and we can definitely influence their life. And this is what I think. I feel that it should have happened very early. But anyway, that so due to telecommunication, I think it was possible now. So it could have happened earlier. Then I think our role would have been a different, game-changing role.
Yeah, right, Nagendra. From my side, I will be having more awareness at first in my inner world about this job profile, because I was not even having confidence about EA profession when I first started working. I was believing it like as an subordinate one, like as just a secretary, just answering the phone, welcoming the guest, that's it. But later on, when I was even seeing the improvement in myself and also in this profession, I saw that I wish I could be having more awareness before, so I could do more things, like creating a YouTube channel like now, and also maybe meeting you earlier. Maybe we could have already changed the world, and I don't know, but somehow the bad influence, let's say, on our profession, bad affection on our profession should be removing completely. And when EA position is on the desk, everything should have like general manager position, like respect.
No, I mean this is what myth that people has. Every position has its own respect, and so the way I have evolved, I think definitely, I think so when I see my journey, I'm very proud about it. So the way very very basic year role, it wasn't very administration role. You don't have anything. to contributing, some of the greatest role in the country, and to influencing their life. I think that is something which eventually I have experienced, and it was a great experience that I have, right? So a lot of things that you learn, and today I'm sitting and talking to you, and I'm sharing my experiences. I feel proud about it.
Yeah, right,
and
right,
and
Nagendra.
and some, yeah, so that is I think that is what you have to feel proud about yourself, like, so you are doing a YouTube channel, and that's a great treasure of knowledge, right? And it definitely create a pathway for an executive assistant in future, what they should be.
Yeah, yeah,
And this
yeah.
is not something simple, and so it's a creative way of looking into the role. I think you really definitely did a lot of things, like connecting with global stakeholders or global EAs and interviewing them, and getting into the platform. It's not so easy, right? I mean, you got that idea. How did you get that idea? Because of your experience. You thought about it, and you can reach out to people in LinkedIn, and I know it requires a lot of programming, program management that is there. I think those things are very important for our role, right? And how do you influence some others' life?
Yeah, exactly. Thank you so much, Nagendra. Thank you. And my questions are done. Really appreciate a lot for taking time at your business hour. Really appreciate. And this channel became a global data for everyone. As I said, for also each other, we are all also learning, we are improving. As the world is going on, we can't remain the same. As I always say, we need to practice from each other. Lessons learned from life. This is the quote that I am pursuing, let's say.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that. And as I told you, like, so in one of my previous talk that I had with you, and we should develop ourselves to become an executive decision maker. I think, now it is the time. So you have to really think in that angle, and you should know so how to make a decisions, how to help your executives to bring in that conclusion and to add value to the business. I think that's definitely, I think now, being an world very small due to telecommunication, so I think this is in a right path, and definitely eventually I can see that executive assistant role will be a game changing role.
I hope so. I believe
And I would
so.
definitely, my gratitude to all who are contributing for this, and making this role a very successful role, and an important role for the organization. So I should thank you, so for keeping ongoing effort of making these things, and bringing awareness, and interviewing CEOs, or like senior, even senior leaders. I think that really matters, because we definitely need that. I think creating awareness is very important for the organization framework, because if not, the role will become extinct if we will not act today, and that's important.
Yes, exactly, Nagendra. This is our YouTube channel. This is our profession, and we are going to defend all of our rights together by giving hand by hand, no matter where we are. Thank you so much, Nagendra. Really appreciate a lot.
Thank you, Sapil, and I should and my salute to you for for this great contribution to our community, and from all of us. Thank you, a wholehearted thank you for you. Thank you very much.
My pleasure. Hope to see you soon in Turkey.
Definitely, I would be my pleasure to be part of in-person meeting in Turkey. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Take care, Nagendra.
Take care. Wish you too. Take care.
Bye
Bye.
bye.